The party becomes even more lively after Sejuan officially invites Kellyan to join everyone. As soon as Sejuan explains the real value of the strange artifact, Kellyan's eyes shine brighter than ever with excitement. He eagerly steps forward and excitedly asks if they can really keep making Macchiali forever. Sejuan happily nods with a wide smile and confidently tells him that they certainly can. Kellyan immediately turns his attention toward the soft lump of white rice dough. He remembers Sejuan saying that it only needs to be fed tower coins, so he decides to test it himself. Without saying anything else, he slowly raises one hand. A massive magic circle immediately spreads beneath his feet, and the surrounding air begins shaking from the overwhelming magic. A powerful gust of wind sweeps across the farm. Then, all of a sudden, a gigantic mountain of sparkling tower coins appears high above the farm. Looking extremely proud, Kellyan announces that he is giving 10 million tower coins. The very next moment, countless golden coins begin falling from the sky like a giant waterfall. The loud sound of metal echoes across the farm as millions of coins crash into one another. Sejuan slowly looks up in complete confusion. His eyes grow wider and wider as he realizes what is happening. Before he even has time to move, the endless rain of tower coins crashes down on him and completely buries him beneath the enormous pile. In only a few seconds, the place where Sejuan is standing completely disappears under a mountain of shining gold. The baby rabbits freeze in shock. The mushroom rabbits let out frightened screams. Queen Bee immediately flies toward the giant pile as fast as she can, desperately trying to help. A moment later, one lonely tower coin suddenly shoots out from the mountain. Then Sejuan's head finally pops out of the pile. He spits another coin out of his mouth before coughing several times to catch his breath. Queen Bee anxiously circles around him and quickly asks if he is all right. Sejuan brushes the dust and coins off his face before laughing loudly. He assures everyone that he is perfectly fine. Picking another coin off the top of his head, he laughs again and says that he never imagines being buried under money like this. Everyone around him bursts into laughter after seeing that he is safe. However, while everyone is laughing, Sejuan suddenly notices something strange. The harmless-looking white rice dough begins moving by itself. It slowly wiggles across the mountain of tower coins while making tiny bubbling sounds. Then, without any warning, it opens up and starts swallowing the tower coins one after another. Sejuan's smile immediately disappears. His eyes almost pop out of their sockets. He quickly rushes toward it while desperately shouting for it to stop. He cannot believe that it is actually eating all of the valuable tower coins. As the mysterious dough continues swallowing more and more coins, it starts growing larger. First it reaches 1 meter in height, then 2 meters, then 3 meters. Its soft white body swells larger and larger like an enormous balloon filled with air. Theo stares at it in complete horror and nervously asks what they are supposed to do now. The gigantic rice dough happily continues chewing the coins without showing any sign of stopping. Suddenly, it bends its body as though preparing to jump. The next instant, it launches itself high into the sky with incredible force. Everyone instinctively follows it with their eyes as the gigantic white dough bounces higher and higher into the air. Feeling more nervous with every passing second, Sejuan points toward the sky and anxiously asks what the strange thing is trying to do. Even Kellyan looks completely surprised. Scratching his cheek awkwardly, he admits that he never expects something like this to happen. Theo's ears flatten against his head, and his tail stands completely straight as he panics after realizing that the giant dough is falling straight back toward the farm. Before anyone else has time to panic, Kaiser calmly steps forward with complete confidence. He snorts at Kellyan and calls him a foolish white dragon. Blue dragon energy gathers around Kaiser's fingertip, while a brilliant magic circle appears beneath him. He instantly flies into the sky. Looking completely calm, he quietly speaks a single command to annihilate the target. A dazzling blue beam of energy shoots from his fingertip. The enormous blast pierces directly through the giant rice dough with overwhelming force. Brilliant blue light immediately fills the entire farm. For several long seconds, nobody can see anything because the intense light blinds everyone. Finally, the light slowly fades away. The gigantic dough has completely vanished without leaving any trace behind. Only the original fist-sized rice dough gently falls from the sky and lands softly in Sejuan's hands, as though nothing unusual ever happens. Everyone simply stares without saying a single word. Kung's mouth hangs wide open in complete disbelief as he says that it completely disappears. Kellyan sadly watches the empty sky while tears slowly form in his eyes. He mournfully complains about losing all of his tower coins. Kaiser gracefully lands beside him and crosses his arms without showing even the slightest sympathy. He coldly asks why Kellyan is acting as though those coins belong to him. Then he directly points at Kellyan and accuses him of probably stealing every single coin from the treasure vault on the 55th floor anyway. Kellyan quietly looks away and refuses to answer. Meanwhile, Sejuan gently kneads the harmless-looking rice dough between both hands. It feels soft and squishy like jelly. He lets out a deep sigh before giving the innocent-looking artifact a bitter smile. He quietly says that he will definitely have to be much more careful whenever he uses this little fellow in the future. Theo curiously reaches out with one paw and pokes the dough. It sinks inward just like soft jelly. Feeling how soft it is, Theo happily comments that it is incredibly soft. Sometime later, the excitement finally settles down. A large bonfire burns brightly in the middle of the farm, filling the area with warm orange light. Fresh sweet potatoes wrapped inside fragrant onion leaves slowly roast beneath the hot ashes. Their delicious smell spreads throughout the farm and makes everyone's mouth water. Theo repeatedly sniffs the wonderful aroma. Unable to wait any longer, he impatiently asks whether the sweet potatoes are finally finished cooking. At that moment, one roasted sweet potato rolls out from beneath the burning ashes. Kung quickly picks it up and carefully unwraps the onion leaves. Hot steam rises into the cool air as he gently breaks the sweet potato open. After looking inside, he sadly shakes his head because the center is still firm and not fully cooked. Just then, a calm female voice quietly speaks from behind everyone and asks him to hand it over. Everyone immediately turns around. The roasted sweet potato slowly rises into the air all by itself. Kung blinks in confusion. Iona has quietly returned. Holding her magic staff with complete confidence, she smiles gently before raising one hand. She chants a fire spell and commands the power of fire to obey her. A blazing magic circle appears before her. She then casts Blaze of Incineration. A powerful flame instantly surrounds the floating sweet potato. Kung quickly jumps backward while shouting that it is too hot. Theo's eyes shine brightly with excitement after seeing Iona return. He happily welcomes her back. Iona calmly looks around the lively farm filled with laughter, delicious food, and cheerful celebration. Raising one eyebrow, she asks whether everyone is planning another big event because the atmosphere is so lively. Theo proudly points towards Sejuan and explains that Chairman Park is holding a party to celebrate everyone's safe return from the 77th floor. As soon as he finishes speaking, loud cheers rise from every corner of the farm. The rabbits clap happily. Everyone celebrates together with smiles on their faces. Nearby, Sejuan decides to demonstrate what he has learned from the holy stone. Holding out one hand, he pours mana into the mysterious stone. Cold blue energy gathers around him. Soon, a beautiful block of crystal-clear honey ice appears in the air. The farmer rabbits stare at it with sparkling eyes full of wonder. Some of them clap excitedly while watching the magical display. Even Queen Bee opens her eyes wide in amazement. Sejuan continues smiling while creating more floating blocks of honey ice one after another. Each block shines beautifully in the sunlight. Iona quietly watches everything without speaking. After observing him for a long time, she finally lets out a quiet sigh and comments that he is still using the holy stone in such an unusual way. Theo walks over to her and politely asks whether there is anything she wants to eat. He proudly tells her that Chairman Park can cook anything she wants. Iona thinks quietly for a moment before shaking her head and saying that nothing special comes to mind. Suddenly, Theo remembers something important. He quickly searches through his backpack until his face brightens with excitement. He pulls out a small bag and happily tells Iona to try what is inside. Proudly presenting it to her, he explains that they are called peanuts because he has a feeling she will enjoy them. Curious, Iona picks up one peanut and takes a bite. Then she eats another. Then another. Her eyes suddenly sparkle with excitement. She happily lets out cheerful sounds while continuing to eat them one after another. Theo bursts into laughter because he has never seen Iona act so excited before. Without stopping, Iona continues eating the peanuts and quickly asks whether there are any more because they are so savory and delicious. Before Theo has a chance to answer, a loud voice suddenly echoes across the entire farm. Everyone immediately turns toward the sound. Kellyan is standing beside the cooking pot with his arms crossed. Looking extremely impatient, he loudly asks why the food is still not ready. The moment Iona notices him, she jumps in surprise. She immediately points her magic staff directly at Kellyan while powerful magic gathers at its tip. Shocked, she asks why a white dragon is standing there. Theo quickly waves both paws and urgently tells her that everything is all right. Before the situation can turn into another fight, Sejuan calmly walks over. Looking directly at Kellyan with a serious expression, he firmly reminds him that a party is something everyone enjoys together and that he should stop thinking only about himself. Kellyan immediately lowers his head. Every trace of his previous arrogance completely disappears. Embarrassed, he quietly apologizes and admits that he is only acting that way because he is extremely hungry. Sejuan's serious expression immediately softens into a gentle smile. He explains that the soup still needs a little more time to finish cooking. Then he picks up a freshly roasted sweet potato and tells Kellyan to eat it while waiting. Like an obedient child, Kellyan reaches out both hands and quietly asks for just one. Laughing softly, Sejuan places the roasted sweet potato into his hands. Kellyan happily accepts it and sincerely thanks him. Watching this unbelievable sight, Iona can hardly believe what she is seeing. She quietly asks Theo what in the world is happening. Theo proudly explains that Chairman Park has even made a contract with a white dragon. Iona silently stares at Sijuan. A look of deep admiration slowly appears on her face, as she quietly whispers in amazement and wonders just how far Sijuan's abilities actually reach. Far away, inside the white dragon's tower, 2 roasted sweet potatoes suddenly appears in front of Kellyan through the power of their contract. He eagerly licks his lips and prepares to take a bite. However, just before eating it, he suddenly remembers someone important. He loudly calls for Ajax, and his powerful voice echoes throughout the tower. A young white dragon quickly flies over and asks why his grandfather is calling him. Ajax pouts and complains that he is busy farming. Kellyan simply snorts and asks whether Ajax can even show him a single crop that he has successfully grown. Ajax immediately freezes in place. Cold sweat slowly runs down his forehead. He awkwardly laughs and claims that it is simply not harvest season yet. Kellyan lets out a deep sigh before asking why Ajax insists on becoming a tower farmer in the first place. Embarrassed, Ajax lowers his head and honestly admits that he believes he will naturally be good at everything simply because he is a great white dragon. Sadly looking toward his empty fields, he explains that his crops cannot survive his powerful dragon energy, and he insists that it is not really his fault. In his mind, he remembers proudly standing in front of the fields while commanding the crops to grow quickly. Instead of growing, every single crop immediately withers away. The land dries up, becomes completely barren, and not a single healthy plant survives. Without saying anything else, Kellyan silently hands him the roasted sweet potato and tells him to try it. Ajax curiously takes a bite. His eyes instantly become huge with surprise. After another bite, he excitedly tells his grandfather that it is unbelievably delicious. Kellyan warmly laughs before gently patting Ajax's shoulder. He encourages him to eat until he regains his strength and tells him that one day he should grow crops just as delicious as these. Ajax's face brightens with determination as he happily agrees. Back on the 99th floor, the baby rabbits happily play with Sijuan's floating honey ice blocks together with the mushroom ants. Their cheerful laughter echoes all around the peaceful farm. Nearby, a large cooking pot bubbles over the fire. Sijuan tastes the soup with a wooden spoon before smiling with satisfaction. He happily says that the soup is coming along very nicely. Farmer Rabbit proudly nods and reminds him that plenty of carrots have been added exactly as Sijuan requests. The rich and delicious aroma spreads everywhere, making everyone even hungrier. Sijuan claps his hands together before smiling at Bat-Bat. He suggests that they should now go and pick the fruit Bat-Bat wants to eat. Bat-Bat excitedly flies into the air while cheering happily. The others gladly follow behind them. Soon they arrive at the pineapple field. Rows of beautiful golden pineapples stand proudly beneath the warm sunlight. Sijuan's eyes brighten with excitement as he happily says that these finally look like the pineapples he knows. He slowly walks between the rows, carefully looking at every fruit. Before long, one especially enormous pineapple catches his attention. It is much larger than every other pineapple in the field. Grinning from ear to ear, Sijuan places both hands on the giant fruit. He laughs after noticing just how huge it is and happily declares that he chooses this one. Filled with excitement, he pulls it free from the plant. Proudly celebrating his first real pineapple harvest, he suddenly sees a familiar blue system window appear before him. You have harvested a screaming pineapple. Your job EXP has slightly increased. Your harvesting LV6 proficiency has slightly increased. You have gained 50 EXP. Sijuan blinks several times in confusion. He slowly reads the message again before his expression becomes completely stiff. In disbelief, he quietly repeats the strange name, wondering what exactly a screaming pineapple is. At that exact moment, the giant pineapple suddenly takes one deep breath, as though filling itself with as much air as possible. For one brief second, the entire farm becomes completely silent. Everyone instinctively stops moving. Then, without any warning at all, the horrifying pineapple lets out an unbelievably loud scream that echoes across the entire 99th floor, shaking the whole farm with its terrifying voice.